واللي كانوا حاضرين موجودين هناك لما شافوا هذه الدخان اللي طلع مع هذه ماتوا كلهم أطفال ونساء، أطفال ونساء وشيوخ، فقط يعني 3 من شباب، ولا البقية كلهم شيوخ ونساء وأطفال، يعني 45 46 بما 5 حريم يحملين في بطونهن أجنة. على طول حرقت سيارة فيها المواعيد والبوش بشر منطقة، والأطفال اللي هم جاريح. معناته بيقول لك نحن كلنا قاعدة، ما دام الأطفال قاعدة نحن قاعدة. إيش في؟ ما دام الأطفال إرهاب معناته احنا كلنا إرهابيين.
الساعة 6 الصباح
صورة
أنا كل نايم وكنا نجالس في مجالسة والعجن لخبس هذا سوايا قلتنا هكذا قلت ساكتة بدون كلام ما غراحت فينا ولا غابت أنا كل واحد تو انتبه وعيالي وبنتي وزاقي وعيالي كلهم انتهوا، ما بغيت إلا أنا وهذا وأبوه وهذا الشاب وهذا الولد. سواعي وراهي هاي وهذا المي ويدعك تماما.
Mr. President, since you took office, you ordered more drone attacks in your first year than your predecessor did in his entire term. These drone attacks caused a lot of civilian casualties. I'm curious to know how you feel they help the nation and whether you think they're worth it.
There's some surveillance to make sure that our embassy compound is protected. As a general proposition, the question that was posed, I want to make sure that people understand actually drones have not caused a huge number of civilian casualties. For the most part, they have been very precise, precision strikes against Al-Qaeda and their affiliates. This is a targeted, focused effort at people who are on a list.
When we went there, we saw what happened. Of course, our government does not have this kind of rockets. And you see all the shells all over, unbelievable. Of course, there was marking made in the United States of America. It was all recorded.
Do people there want revenge against the United States for this?
I think they have created, again, many enemies in Yemen.
U.S. unmanned aircraft are wreaking havoc across the world. The latest attacks in Yemen have left at least 11 people dead. It came just hours after another U.S. drone strike killed at least 8 people in Pakistan's North Waziristan region. Libya, Somalia and Iraq are also familiar with such lethal attacks on their soil over the past years. Despite the U.S. claims that it's targeting militants, statistics show civilians are the main victims.
All drone strikes in Pakistan are taken out by CIA. Now, if you look at the number of individuals whose names and identities and as their militants is known, a very big estimate is not more than 170 people. So it simply means that over 2,800 people are civilians.
The Obama administration has offered its most expansive defense to date of its policy authorizing the assassination of U.S. citizens abroad. Attorney General Eric Holder outlined what the White House billed as the legal
Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and associated forces of United States citizens. United States citizenship alone does not make such individuals immune from being targeted.
U.S. drone killed the U.S.-born cleric Anwar al-Awlaki in Yemen. Another U.S. citizen, the Saudi-born Samir Khan, was also killed in the attack. A drone in Yemen 2 weeks later killed al-Awlaki's 16-year-old son, also a U.S. citizen.
You said that al-Awlaki was demonstrably and provably involved in operations. Do you plan on demonstrating?
I should step back. He is clearly, provably may be a legal term. I think it has been well established, and it has certainly been the position of this administration and the previous administration, that he is a leader in was a leader in AQAP, that AQAP was a definite threat, was operational, planned, and carried out terrorist attacks that fortunately did not succeed, but were extremely serious, including the ones specifically that I mentioned in terms of the would-be Christmas Day bombing in 2009 and the attempt to bomb numerous cargo planes headed for the United States. And he was obviously also an active recruiter of al-Qaeda terrorists. So I don't think anybody in the field would dispute any of those assertions.
You don't think anybody else in the government would dispute?
I think I wouldn't know of any credible terrorist expert who would dispute the fact that he was a leader in al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and that he was operationally involved in terrorist attacks against American interests and citizens.
Do you plan on bringing before the public any proof of these charges?
Again, the question makes us, it has been embedded within it assumptions about the circumstances of his death that I'm just not going to address.
How on earth does it have? What is it? I really don't understand. He's dead. You were asserting that he had operational control of the cargo plot and the Abdul Muttalib plot. He's now dead. Can you show us, or the American people, or has a judge been shown?
Well, again, Jake, I'm not going to go any further than what I've said about the circumstances of his death and the case against them, which again you're linking, and I think that
you said that he was responsible for these things.
Yes, but again,
is there going to be any evidence presented?
I don't have anything for you on that.
Do you not see at all? Does the administration not see at all how a president asserting that he has the right to kill an American citizen without due process, and that he's not going to even explain why he thinks he has that right, is troublesome to some people?
I wasn't aware of any of those things that you said actually happening, and again, I'm not going to address the circumstances of al-Awlaki's death. I think it is an important fact that this terrorist who was actively plotting, had plotted in the past and is actively plotting to attack Americans and American interests, is dead. But I'm not going to, from any angle, discuss the circumstances of his death.
You know that the Center for Constitutional Rights and the ACLU tried to get permission to represent Awlaki. His father had asked them to do that, but they needed to get permission from the Treasury Department, and so that they could challenge his being on this targeted killing list. And the administration, the Obama administration, refused to let them represent him. To not even, he couldn't even have the ACLU representing him. Well,
I would send those questions or take those questions to Treasury or Justice. I don't have anything on that for you.
What do you think constitutional law professor Barack Obama would think of this?
I think he spoke about it today.
The Obama administration has steadfastly refused to provide the specific legal case behind the killing of the three. In keeping with White House policy, during his remarks, Holder refused to even confirm the existence of the CIA Joint Special Operations Command drone program that carried out the attacks. Holder's speech was widely seen as the Obama administration's response to a hail of criticism and legal challenges after more than 2 years of keeping its assassination program under a cloak of secrecy. It alleges the government has failed to adequately respond to the Freedom of Information Act requests and has unfairly invoked state secrecy privilege in refusing to disclose the information.
I have 2 words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming.
Barack has led by example. When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya.
Except for my approval ratings, which have just gone down. But that's politics. It doesn't bother me. Besides, I happen to know that my approval ratings are still very high in the country of my birth.